Taylen, this is the first time we've gotten to sit down with you since you decided to return to Arkansas for another season. Why did you want to come back?
First, I feel like, prayed about it. I feel like, God wanted me here. And second, I feel like there was, unfinished business. And, third, Coach Pitt and, Coach Petrino, their belief in me when I decided to come here last year, and just the different things that, they want me to do. And having a second year in the playbook, that really meant a lot to me, and the knowledge that I gained from last year. So,
was there some thought that had to go into it, or were you kind of always, when the season ended, you felt like you were being pulled back?
I always, felt like, I wanted to be here, especially, being close to home. And I feel like, I love the community and the fans, and how much they, love the Hogs. And it really means a lot to me. So right when, everybody hit the transfer portal, I was like, I'm here, this is home.
Was it good to announce that and get that out there? Because I'm sure so many people asked you what you were doing, and it was always a question of, is he coming back, is he not? When you kind of had it out there, you felt like you could really throw yourself into getting ready for your second season, right?
For sure. I felt like, everybody, in here, knew I was staying, and, we was working out and lifting and things of that nature. But, right when the recruiting, the transfer portal hit, people was asking me, was I staying or leaving? Once I, posted, I went in straight recruiting mode. And, any visits that we had, I was, right there texting them or calling them. And, especially, Raylan was, my first, visit that I got to, sit down with them and, have lunch with them, not lunch, but dinner with them. And, he has experience in the offense as well. So I just went into straight, recruiter mode. I was telling the coach, I was like, I feel like I'm recruiter All-American. That's the title I was saying.
I was going to ask you, because you said it in the press conference on Monday before spring ball started. You were kind of looking at tape on these guys, giving your opinion, posting on social media. I mean, you were almost a bit of a recruiter for them yourself. I mean, what was it like doing all of that and being such a helpful part to this coaching staff?
I feel like I had a great, perspective, because, I was there, just a year ago, and I know the stress that, they're going through and wanting to make the right decision, and I was just telling them, in a personal level, like, this is the place to be, not just, on the field, but off the field too, especially, Fayetteville. It keeps you, focused. There's a lot of, distractions if you go, someplace else. But, the people here, love the Hogs. And, if you go out in the community, they're going to know who you are. And especially, that means, a lot to, the players. But, actually like the family too, because, my mom had way more questions than, I had going into the recruiting process and the transfer portal. So, any questions that, the parents had, I was, there to answer it. And the recruiting staff here, Miles, Coach Fishback, does a great job too of, connecting with, the players. So.
Speaking of last season, let's go back to what you did in your first season on the Hill. You threw for 3,154 yards, 15 touchdowns, but also 9 interceptions. And that's something that you mentioned, that is something you want to work on going into your second season. How do you feel like you can attack that this year?
I would say first, dive into the film room and understanding, why I made the decision, and getting on the same page with, Petrino, and dissecting. And, I feel like I have to do a better job of, that this year. And, I have the last year's film to go off of, but I feel like I look at more of what I did bad more than what I did good, because I feel like everything, learning from the bad, you can always, get better, especially, learning from the good, of course, but, just being more consistent. And that's what, Coach Petrino is always on me, because everybody can do it, when you're feeling good and feeling, amped up and energized. But, the great ones do it when, you don't even feel like it, or, you're tired or fatigued. So that's the things that I have to get better at, and I'm going to get better at, and my decision making and identifying coverages, quicker.
You said Coach Petrino said, no, you're going to get better. You can do better in those exit meetings that he had with all the players. Do you think you're your biggest critic, or do you think Coach Petrino gets on you a little more than?
That's a really good question. I would say he helps me to be my hardest critic, because on the days, I think I did good, and I feel myself like he humbles me real quick, and I see, in his, perspective of, the outside looking in, whether it's in the film room or, out, like when he's, watching, film or watching me on the field. He helps me, realign, how I view myself, in the film room. And, even if the completion, like if I complete a ball, like I would say, like I have to, make it easier on the receiver and not make it harder. And that's the things like he would say too. So that's one of the biggest things that I'm hard on myself, just being another Coach Petrino, on the field, for my teammates.
Another Coach Petrino. I like that phrase. I love that. Another Coach Petrino. Speaking of Coach Petrino, second year under him, I'm sure you feel a lot more confident with him and comfortable with him as well. Where do you see the differences and changes between you and him with y'all's relationship?
I feel like it goes, both ways. I have way more confidence, and going into, spring, knowing to expect, with him and his playbook, but at the same time, he knows, what I like and what I'm good at, and spring is a great opportunity to build on, what I didn't do well in the fall. So in the fall, I'm ready for it, whether that's, different concepts or, under the center, because, we didn't do a lot of under center. So that's one thing, we're going to, improve on, because I'm going to do that in the NFL. So I'm definitely excited to, have the opportunity to get better at the things I didn't do.
There's always that saying of year two with quarterbacks under Coach Petrino. And are you kind of excited about that, of kind of going, okay, here's my jump, here's how far I can do it,
Yeah, I would say I'm definitely, excited, because I have a lot to give, and, I feel like I haven't reached my potential yet. And, Coach Petrino and what he's done to, his past, quarterbacks from that year one to year two jump. But, at the same time, I got to continue to just take it, day by day, and just focus on one rep and one play at a time. So,
speaking of changes, right, you look a little physically different too. I feel like since the last time we saw you in December, I know you guys hit it hard with the strength and conditioning program here, and Ben Souders does an incredible job. Where do you feel like you've changed physically? Do you feel stronger? Do you feel faster? Maybe something we don't see.
Yeah, I would say, shout out to, the strength staff, Coach Souders, and everyone that's, up there. The one thing that we do, I said it, yesterday, is, we lift heavy weight, but, at the same time is we're, real smart and how we do it, and we, lift with speed, and they did a amazing job, with that. And one thing I'm really on myself that I need to do better at from last year is, taking care of my body, whether that's, nutrition or in the training room. And, I had some nagging injuries, last year, and, I'm in the training room. The training staff's doing, a great job with me. I'm in there, sometimes, twice a day or, 3 times a day in the off season, so they're doing a great job with that too. And I'm feeling great. So, do
you think we'll see some of those physical changes, that fans will see some of those physical changes translate to your game this season?
Definitely, especially playing in the SEC. It's probably the most physical in the country. And Coach Petrino says all the time, like the most physical team wins. And whether we're in the weight room or whether we're running outside, our training. Coach Pitt says, tough things, make tough players, and tough players, win tough games. And that's what, I like, and that it's not our off season, our training is not easy. If it was easy, everybody would do it. And so that's what I really like, and that's what I feel like it's going to translate, to this fall.
talking a little bit about some of the changes that we see on this year's team. The offensive line looking a little bit different, right? Everyone's talked about that. Fernando Carmona obviously back once again. I'm sure that's good to have some familiarity with some of those guys, but you were very vocal in the offseason about who they were bringing in and how excited you were about the guys they were recruiting. Coach Pitt has been very complimentary of the offensive line. Give us your take on them so far. I know it's early, but what do you feel about those guys?
Like you said, my word is excitement. I was really excited on the players that decided to come here, and they didn't just come here because they just wanted to, but they want to like win, and whatever their job is, they'll do it. And the energy and the dedication that they have in the weight room and on the field runs, it jumps off the pages. And shout out to Junior that his leadership and going from tackle to switching positions, it just speaks to how bad and how willing he is just to help the team, and just having that. And that's football really, just all 11 just going to a common goal of to score and to win. And that's what I love, and just the camaraderie that they already built in the locker room. And like in the locker room, it's like sectioned off. With like the O-line first, and like that section is like one of the loudest every single day. They're always laughing and having a good time. So, and they have like O-line night where they get together and eat and things. And the Super Bowl happened, and I had a couple of the O-linemen went to Caden's house. Shout out to Caden, and we had some barbecue. Shout out to Wright's Barbecue. There you go, shout out. So it was definitely good.
Oh, that sounds really fun. We all need an invite to that, okay? We're all looking for the invite.
Rights, come on.
Host us all for that. That sounds great. You and KJ, I see pictures of you guys on Instagram. You guys are buddies. You talk about him in your captions as your brother. What have you seen from him?
He reminds me of myself when I was him, and I tell him all the time he's way ahead of where I was my freshman and sophomore year, redshirt freshman year. And I tell him all the time, like, don't be scared. Like, this is your time to learn and to grow, and the things that you do right now is going to carry over to what you're going to do on the field when it's your time. So that's what I tell him all the time. And any questions that he has, he can ask me or talk to me just on a social level, because he's a freshman, a redshirt freshman, and it's his first time away from home. So just the things that comes with that. And we went to a Rod Wave concert in Dallas, and we had a really good time. And we actually went to my house, and he talked to my parents and things like that. So we definitely got a lot closer. And he's always joking around. Don't get me started, but he's always joking around and making laughter, and that's what you kind of need, especially in the quarterback room, to lighten the mood, because we get real serious sometimes, and just to lighten the mood is sometimes needed.
Oh, it absolutely is, and I feel like you guys need that. It's that camaraderie that the O-line has that you guys have in your room as well. What do you think about some of the other quarterbacks as well? You guys brought in Madden as well, and that was talked about all over the nation. Just what do you see from some of those other guys?
Their ability to retain the information and be able to do it, and that's one of the reasons that really stuck out to me, was being able to take what you learned in the film room or in the whiteboard and to do it on the field, whether it's a walkthrough or routes on air that we do with the receivers, and their ability to spin it and their ability to have the confidence to let it rip. That's one of the I would say the things that I struggle with as a freshman is just trust in my eyes, and because coming from, it's like in high school, coming from JV or the freshman team to varsity, just the jump in that. So just the confidence level, and even when they don't know the play fully, I'm like, just have the confidence to act like what you're doing. So that's what really speaks to me, and jumps out to me, and their ability to learn. They'll always, if they have a question, won't hesitate to ask me or Coach Petrino.
You said we have a great offense. we want to be the #1 offense in the country. That's what we're striving to do, and that's what we think we can do. Why do you say that? Why do you feel so confident in this offense?
It's my second year, under Coach Petrino, and I feel like we do have the pieces, to make it happen. And just last year, we was so close, to doing that, and we was a top 10 offense last year, but we're not satisfied with that, and nor is Petrino. And just the competitiveness that we have, as an offense, we're going to have the mentality that we're going to, score every single time we touch the ball, and not just us as players, but Coach Petrino has that too. And if we don't, he's on it, and if we don't do good, in maybe spring ball in a section, he's on it. He's going to let us know. So just having that, as a player, it just means a lot, and just having the details and the urgency and the attention to detail is, really evident that we have to do not just in spring, but carry it over to summer and fall. And that's what, I feel like we're going to do. And that's what, I'm excited for the opportunity to do. Because like you said, we have I'm excited for the O-line, how big they are, how strong they are, and just their ability to move. And the receiver is looking really explosive, and the tight ends and the running backs. And, Braylon, slimmed down, and he's looking really good out there too. So I'm excited.
What is something that Hog fans maybe didn't realize about you in your first year on the Hill? It can be anything. It doesn't even have to be football related. What is something you think that they don't know about you?
That's a really good question.
I mean, you are probably that. I don't think people realize how into bowling you are.
Okay. I like that, because I didn't realize how much you were into bowling.
Yeah, I got my own bowling ball. Got all that. Yeah.
Your own bowling ball.
Own bowling ball.
And everything. I mean, how often do you bowl? I mean, obviously, when you're not focusing on football, how often do you get to bowl?
I try to go once every week or once every 2 weeks with some teammates.
That's really into bowling.
Yeah.
How good are you?
I'm about my average is probably 180, 170, 175, 180. It's not crazy, it's not crazy, but it's solid though.
Okay. What tips for me as a bowler? What you got?
I would say pay attention to the arrows. The arrows, that's what I would say. I feel like at first, it's kind of joking, but first start with the Wii. You know what the Wii is? The Wii bowling, Wii Sports?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You know how you pay attention to the arrow and you got to spin it? Yeah.
So you have your own bowling ball, too? What's it look like?
It's purple and black.
Oh,
yeah.
That's nice. Hot question. I was watching, I'm a big video game gal, and I play a lot of college football 25. And I've been trying to spread the word that you're the cheat code in the game.
Yeah.
And I think people are catching on. I was watching Twitch the other night, just a random streamer, and they were like, who's this Taylen Green guy? I had no idea how good he was in this game. Do you like how you're portrayed in the game? I mean, do you feel like you're do you play as yourself? Do you feel like you're a bit of a cheat code?
I do. Okay. I like it. I feel like I have I didn't know at the time, but I do know I have a new Ultimate Team card. It's 98 overall, and it has all the speed, all that. Shout out to EA. But
you got a lot of shout outs in this one.
I was talking to a person, and he was like, "You need an Ultimate Team card. They should make an Ultimate Team card." I was like, I don't know. Then a week later they did, and I was like, that's crazy. He DM'd me, so crazy. Shout out to him.
What if you had to pinpoint one thing, your main goal for spring? What would you say it is and why?
My main thing is becoming one. I would say in the spring, becoming an offense that works as a unit. That's my main goal. Then the summer, offense and defense, becoming one. And special teams, becoming one. But in the spring, I would say everybody on the offense working as one unit, not just individual.
I like that. I think that's a pretty dang good goal. You summed that up really well. Taylen, that's all the questions I have, unless you have anything else that you'd like to add here at the end.
Come out to the spring game. Come on. April 19th?
Well, April 19th?
April 19th. 1 o'clock. Come out. It's free. Come out.
It's free, and it's not going to be on TV, right?
That's right.
It's not
No
gonna be on
TV.
TV?
So
Why not?
Gotta be here.
Gotta
Gotta-
be here or be square.